All right, my friends, welcome to episode 216 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games, fresh from Blizzcon, and over there is Anthony, the dev at Summer Speak. Before we get into my awesome description of Blizzcon, how are you?
I'm doing well. Time change, of course, and it's still... This is usually the good one, but it still wrecks me.
This is supposed to be the good one, yeah.
I feel like I'm old. Anytime this time change thing hits, it still throws me for a loop for a few days.
We are super proud of ourselves that this is the first time, this first time change with our daughter, and we managed to keep her up late, and then she slept in the right amount of time, and that's never happened before. Usually when she stays up late, she wakes up early. So we were so proud of our planning. Oh, man. So this week we're going to tackle BlizzCon. There's lots of news out of BlizzCon, and then we are going to talk about the games that we have been playing. Yeah. So just to start off with, I went to BlizzCon. I have a friend who works on the StarCraft 2 team, and I was able to purchase a friends and family ticket. And then Brad also was able to purchase one, so we went together. I was there for all day Friday and then part of the day Saturday. And I was a little conflicted because I'm, obviously pretty pissed off about the Hong Kong stance that Blizzard took. But these are tickets I bought a long time ago, and I feel like boycotting BlizzCon, not going, doesn't exactly achieve the purpose that I would like. So I felt like going and being vocal about support for Hong Kong by wearing the apparel, the Free Hong Kong May t-shirt, which I ended up getting on a video asking a question at the Diablo 4 art panel, wearing that shirt. So it felt pretty cool to get that on camera. And they were there, JL and Breck started the whole thing with a nothing apology.
Yeah, it was basically a lot of words that actually said nothing.
Said absolutely nothing. If you didn't know anything about the Hong Kong issue, you'd think he was talking about some game patch that didn't work well or whatever. It was a nothing thing, but at least they addressed it. But the main thing was just like welcoming people to be protesting that. Yeah. And when we walked into BlizzCon, right before we went through the censors to get in the first time, there were people giving out protest t-shirts, just probably 30 boxes full of t-shirts, just giving away people for free. So there were lots of people on the floor wearing protest t-shirts. I had my own, but it was nice to get one of those as well. So I want to get that out of the way. Obviously, the Hong Kong thing is just fucking fuck up for PR and human rights from beginning to end. But these are also games that I've loved for a long time, and it was fun to celebrate them. Yeah, no.
There's definitely some conflicted emotions there. But it's also a thing where to me, I also like these games are made not by the people doing the PR.
Right.
Not by the people that made that esports decision at all. Like, the Diablo 4 team has nothing to do with any of that. And I feel bad punishing those people that pour their life into making these games because PR executives and other management are just stupid.
Right, and that's the thing is like, all the people, as a game designer yourself, like the decisions that are made way above your head, but you're just there, like living your art. And then, like I said, I have a friend who's on the StarCraft team, and I actually asked him directly about this, and he told me some behind the scenes, upset and discussions. Obviously, they're not happy about it, but also, he was worried about BlizzCon because this is, they look forward to this every year. They put a lot of effort in these esports. All the logistics, bringing everyone in. This is a lot of people's lives, and to have that thing happen stupidly by people way up the chain, it does feel a little. I don't want to use the word unfair, but like it does affect them in a way that maybe it isn't fair.
Like they have no say in any of this,
right? And if they did, they would probably make a different decision.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard internal stuff too. There's quite a bit of internal backlash against it as well. So they do what they can. These are just enormous corporations, and I think kind of what you did is the best thing. And anyone wearing the t-shirts, you might be there, you can still protest, and you can still enjoy the things that you actually love. So,
right. And it was really cool the way I just kept comparing it to Comic-Con, where if you want to get in Hall H, you got to be in a huge line and get into this one hall, and that's kind of how I thought it was going to be. But they had several halls. Like Brad and I tried to get into the main hall where JL and Brack was, and they started the whole thing. But we couldn't get in, even though they told us we were definitely going to get in based on where we were in line. So the logistics kind of sucked in that way. but then we just found a seat when we couldn't get in the World of Warcraft stage. Yep. And the way that they did the opening ceremony was they switched to the different stages. So wherever you were, you at least saw something live.
Yeah, and then you were seeing everything else through the screens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because this is your first BlizzCon?
First one, yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been quite a while since I went. Actually, probably like almost a decade. It was when Diablo 3, the monk got announced at the BlizzCon I went to. Diablo 3 wasn't even out. But it was playable. I got to play it. But it still had the very similar type thing. There was the main hall, but then if you weren't there, they had other halls where you could watch everything live as well. I don't know. It just felt like the Anaheim Convention Center was set up so that it just felt much segmented to the different games, but still open to kind of mingle between the different stages and still feel like you could keep up with everything. Yeah, it was really cool. But, well, you went. You got to see all of this stuff.
And, yeah, the opening ceremony, once the kind of opening words were done, they started with a cinematic that opened with like a tombstone.
You're like, it's Diablo.
Oh,
God damn it.
Rad just grabbed me and said, don't jizz all over everybody, please.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the opening ceremonies stream live, and as soon as that intro cinematic started, I was like, there's no other game this can be but Diablo. Like, correct. Look at the tone and the theme.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, this is it. And it was a very long, well done cinematic.
It was really long.
And dark. Like, it's just like it ends up with like three guys pinned to these pillars and their blood leached out of their body to create this like womb, basically, or with a baby.
Kind of a placenta. It was like kind of a placenta cloak, basically.
Yeah. So Lilith basically pushes through, and then it turns into a cloak, and it's just like the coolest image of like.
Oh god, that image! That imagery, the Lilith imagery is amazing.
It's so good. I'm pissed that the shirts were sold out, but at least I got a hat, I guess.
God, it's so good looking.
It's such a smart direction to go, so it's not like Diablo again. It's like a different primeval. It's a different, the mother of the Nephilim. It's really cool. And I hope that it lives up to that shift in focus.
Yeah, but she's the daughter of hatred. She's the daughter of one of the primes.
Oh, okay. Well, I know she's the mother of the Nephilim. That's all I know.
Yeah, because that's the humans. Yeah. So this is where I go crazy with the lore. One, it's Lilith. But it was her, Lilith, and Anarius, the angel, got tired of the eternal conflict between angels and demons, and fled together and created Sanctuary and humans, Nephilim.
Right.
And then were eventually found. I can't remember what specifically happened to them, but like basically it was like the forbidden love between an angel and a demon. And that's what humans are in the Diablo world. Right. They have both. They're angelic and demonic.
Right.
And so yes, I'm a huge lore nerd when it comes to Diablo. And this just looks so exciting. God, it looks so exciting from that standpoint.
It looks really good.
He said it is dark. Really freaking dark. Kind of in a direct response to Diablo 3.
Right.
What was the tagline? Embrace the darkness? That's their thing that they just thought like that's the motto that the team keeps repeating when they're making this game.
Right. They said they have a couple of pillars, and that's the main one. When I was in the art panel and I asked, how do you in a series where you're in your fourth iteration, how do you like have a through line to like tradition, but also bring something new to the art? And they said, like, we embrace the darkness. We, like, kept coming back to that. Like, does this embrace the darkness? And the art they were doing in that panel was very clearly dark.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely really going into the gothic horror and the macabre big time this point. And it's not that, really, to me, Diablo 3, playing as much of it, didn't. It's still a pretty dark game, and especially when you get to Act 5.
Right.
But it had weird comedy thrown in.
Yep.
And it seems like they're just not going that route. They're not going to try to, like, cut the darkness with humorous characters or quips.
Right, they specifically addressed that, like kind of like bringing in the comedy and bringing in some levity. They're like, that's not in this. Like, we're sticking with the darkness. So it's really cool to hear, because Diablo 2 was dark.
No, yeah, it totally was. It didn't really have levity to it.
Right.
Honestly, it didn't even have much story inside the game to begin with. Like, that's the thing when people talk about the story of these games. I'm like, most of the lore and story came from the manuals. You know, when games shipped with manuals.
Yeah, exactly.
And like half the manual was just lore about the world, about the characters, about organizations. And that's where you got the details.
Right, and that's the stuff that you read when you're coming home from the store. Like, you get set up for playing the game. And in terms of the writing, the demo that I played, you know, the overworking story you don't really get a picture of, but just the quest that you're on, and then the NPCs around you, like the things you're hearing, things you're reading as you're going through the quest. Actually, I thought it was good because it was adding flavor to the world and to the quest that you're on without being stupid obvious. It wasn't that kind of writing. It was more indirect.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that fits Diablo better. So, you talk about playing the demo. You played the demo how many times?
I played the demo 3 times.
Okay.
I went through...
With the 3 classes, right? That was
correct.
Barbarian, Sorcerer, and Druid.
Yep. Yeah, people cheered like crazy when they announced the Druid.
It's an inspired choice to bring back.
I think they wanted the challenge of refining it.
Yeah.
So I started with the Sorceress, which is probably my favorite class, and it felt good. Like, I'll tell you, the best thing about the demo was the sound design. Like, everything felt impactful. I think they've nailed it in the past every time, but this is just, it felt so good.
That's good to hear, because I heard an interview where they were talking, or at least someone had a gameplay experience. It was some article that said you could close your eyes and play and still probably figure out what was happening. Because there's so much mixing to the sound. You knew when things were being cut in half or exploding, or it just what enemies were there based on the sounds. Which honestly seems pretty incredible to get that level of sound mix going on.
Yeah, they really nailed that the best. In terms of like the music, nothing was memorable to me about the music. Yeah. But what stood out to me was the way the sound design played out. And then some of the skills, the way that they looked, were really good. Like the Sorceress has a meteor drop that looked really good. She also had a skill that was, I think it's called Blizzard, where you activate it and it's basically like a snowy kind of drops. And that was really visually unappealing. Like it looked kind of like nothing. Like it didn't really feel impactful. So I left some feedback about that. But overall, I felt like the Sorceress is what the Sorceress usually is. You know, you have your fire spells, you have your ice spells, lightning. The Barbarian, I'm trying to think if there's anything that stood out. Oh, the thing that stood out. Okay, so Barbarian is kind of what you expect. But the interesting thing about the Barbarian, as opposed to any other character in the game, and opposed to what it was before, you carry basically 4 primary weapons.
What?
You have your dual wield, which is basically your quick attack, your left mouse, and then your right mouse. You have a bash weapon, and then I think you have a slicing weapon. I can't remember what the other one's called, but you basically have the chance to have 4 different weapons, and you have 2 big ones strapped to your back, and then the 2 in your hand, and then you use the 2 in your hand for a lot of your attacks, and then your kind of bigger attacks, you choose one of the 2 on your back, depending on which skill you use. And it's the only character in the game that you could have up to 4 main weapons. The rest only have 2 or whatever their thing is.
Wow.
And then they all have their attributes and things like that. So if you're like a fucking loot whore, basically, like the Barbarian is going to be really fun because you got an extra 2 slots, basically.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea of that kind of variation. Not only do you have, different talents, different skills, but then also some of the characters might have a different amount of weapons that they can use.
Yeah, they're going beyond a little bit even more beyond the normal, typical Diablo customization of characters, like differentiation between classes.
Yep.
That's really cool. I heard that there are runes.
There are runes, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep, I picked up the whatever you call it, loot drop was just turned up to 100% because everything was like yellows and rares and runes everywhere.
Well, of course.
I got my first ever in my entire life Stone of Jordan, and I played Diablo 2 a fuck ton and never got a Stone of Jordan. I got one in my first demo, and I was just like, so it was pretty cool. But they obviously turned it up just to like that dopamine rush, like you're gonna love it. Oh wow! But it's not gonna be turned up like that in the game.
What else did I have a question? How was the open world?
I thought it was interesting, actually. They've done,
I guess the connected online open world.
Yeah, so that's actually, I really like that because it's what I remember from Destiny and Destiny 2, but I'm sure it was in World of Warcraft first, obviously, where you're like roaming around, you have your side quests, you have your main quest, and then there are world events. So the coolest fight that actually happened was a world event where it said Aspera or some whatever.
Oh, you got to do that?
I did, yeah, twice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it popped up and said, in 2 minutes, this world event happens. I was like, well, this is my second time through a demo. I want to do something different. I'll go up here and see what the fuck that is. And there's this huge cesspool in the ground. And then after when the timer counts down, then this big dragon crawls out. And it's just like, there's probably like 40 of us, maybe 30 of us or whatever, descending on this big dragon. And, it's definitely like quote unquote bullet sponge without bullets. But it had attacks. It's level to your level. So we were all level 19 in the demo. But there were still some attacks that it would just one shot you. So it was pretty cool to like have to like be strategic and dodge and like work with people a little bit as much as you can.
So that's what I said. You mentioned down. Dodge there. There is a dodge in this.
Yeah, it's your spacebar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't played Diablo 3 on computers.
That's not a dodge. Oh. It's a roll. You can still be hit while doing it. It's not. Oh, okay. It's not iframes or anything like that.
Right. No, for my characters, it was a dodge. You jumped out of the way.
Yeah, I wonder if it has invincibility frames.
Yeah, I don't know. The times where I would use it were a little chaotic, so I'm not sure if I got hit or not. It's kind of hard to in the demo to figure that out.
How is does it feel like, where does it feel on the combat, I should say? Does it fast, furious like Diablo 3? Is it a little bit slower like Diablo 2?
I felt like it's in between. I felt like it was a little slower than Diablo 3, but faster than Diablo 2. Okay. And there were some attacks, actually, that I felt were too slow. Like the meteor skill, for example, which I think makes total sense logically. Like, you call the meteor, and then you gotta wait, and then it hits. But then it's like an AoE attack, basically. So the people I was attacking, or targeting at least, would just like wander out of the circle. So then they didn't get by it. And I was like, okay, I gotta time that better. I kind of wanted more immediacy with that, but logically it makes sense. If you're calling a meteor from wherever the fuck it's coming from, it's gonna take a while. Yeah. So it's probably like a 3-second delay.
I've just been trying to reconcile some of the stuff where it was talked about last year, year and a half ago, that this had a much more third-person view.
Yeah, like the Soulsy kind of thing, right?
More Soulsy with more meaningful kind of combat, and I'm watching some of the stream, just people that were playing it, just trying to get a sense if any of that kind of filtered through into, well, yes, it's still an action RPG, but there's a little bit more thought, I guess, to some of the combat.
I think the camera's obviously the isometric view, but I feel like because it's slower and because of the dodge and because I feel like if the enemies, if you're playing at a little slightly higher difficulty, it's not just run into mobs and just smash them all down. Although in the demo, I felt like it was pretty easy where I could drift into the mobs and be fine. Like I died quite a few times, but that's mainly because I wasn't watching my health.
And they're not health orbs anymore, right? Like
there's health potions.
It's just potion. You have a potion on a cooldown.
On Q, yeah, exactly. So you hit it, and then 10 seconds later you can hit it again.
Okay.
But there were no orbs popping up.
Okay.
Like
that's a shame. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that you're managing that resource, so it's a little more. I feel like they're taking strides to make it a little more careful. They're trying to bridge the divide between like the accessibility of 3 and maybe like making it a little more quote unquote realistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, thinking about the barbarian specifically, like it was pretty slowed down. It wasn't just like a bash. It was a little slower, and it took a little longer to take the enemies down. Like maybe instead of like 4 hits, it took 6 or 7.
Okay.
I feel like the enemies were varied enough to make it really interesting. But I was really impressed by the open world, the amount of NPCs that I saw in this demo, different things that they were saying to kind of influence or speak about the specific quest that you're on to give flavor to it. It wasn't just like an info dump from someone.
Yeah.
So it kind of made it feel more like a lived-in world. I would like to see more NPCs out in the open world, and I don't, like wandering to and fro. And I didn't see that in the demo. I'm not sure if that's going to be in it or not.
Yeah. It's hard to say what the final game is going to look like in that standpoint, because I got to say, we're probably still years out from this game.
Oh, yeah, like, 2022, 23?
Yeah, that's my thought. Because even though it looks and sounds like this was an incredibly polished demo.
Right.
It had the 3 classes, and they have confirmed there are 5. They just haven't said what the other 2 are.
Right.
Rumors are that it's Paladin and Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yep, those are the rumors. That those are the next good 2 classes. We'll see if that comes out. A Paladin wouldn't surprise me, though.
An Amazon would surprise me, although that makes me excited.
So this is the thing. You have a Sorcerer, you have the Barbarian, you have the Druid. So you have the Druid as the pet class.
Yep.
I don't think that you would get a Necromancer then, right now.
Right.
You have Barbarian, which is melee physical. You have Sorcerer, which is magical ranged. So I would see a Paladin fits because you want kind of a magical physical.
Yeah.
And then Amazon or a Ranger or some other class, like you want a ranged physical.
Right.
A bow user of some sort. And I'm like, sure, you could call it the Amazon, or you could pull it in Demon Hunter or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm less surprised by that than actually specifically the Amazon.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be kind of a cool throwback. We already had that with the Druid, so.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and clearly they seem inspired by Diablo 2 for this quite a bit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think we got quite a ways before this even sees the light of day, and the kind of what that open world kind of morphs into completely. Like, it's really hard to say, but
yeah, there's a lot of iteration happening between now and then, but I think by them putting out this demo, it's very clear this is going to be that camera angle, that kind of same familiar combat.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to... I feel like anything they showed here is pretty well locked on, like, the core systems, kind of the speed that they're going for. How, like... I saw screenshots of, like, the talent trees and the skills, because it feels like it's a mix... It was like, it's kind of a mix of Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 when it comes to leveling your character.
Yeah, I didn't play with the talent tree. They have the skill tree where, like, it goes in tiers, and you can choose...
Yeah, you can swap them around.
Yeah, but then the talent tree I didn't really dig into.
I saw one briefly, and it was a screenshot, and no one was doing mouse over, so you couldn't tell what it was. Right. Exactly, like what thing, but it was like a branching talent tree of, like, when you level up, you put points into things, and
I guess you get enough abilities.
I guess it's passives. It's hard to say exactly what they are.
I took pictures of the talent tree just because I wanted to have some pictures, but I didn't mouse over to see what the hell it was, so...
Yeah, so I'm really curious on how that works, so that it's, like, more meaningful. Actually, they kind of mentioned, I think it is all passive stuff, but it gives you options to how you level and what your passives are, as opposed to Diablo 3, where you didn't get that option.
Right.
It was pretty static.
Yeah, I did it for the Barbarian. I'm just looking at the symbols, and it's like, those symbols mean nothing to me, so I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like strength, shout... There's a fist underneath a skull.
Yeah.
I don't know what these mean. But there's each talent you can put 5 points into, so there's going to be some variability, different builds, I would say.
Yeah. Man, I'm excited for this. I'm so jealous of you playing it. God damn it.
The 3 times it was really good. The other thing I want to say that stood out, and this is kind of a really weird small thing, but the icons for the skills that are, hotkeyed to...
They're incredible looking.
They're really good looking. Like, I want those. I want, like, a poster of these. They look...
The stained glass icons?
Stained glass, exactly right. It was really striking. It really stood out to me.
And then the way that they come off cooldown was so cool looking. I saw that in stream, because it's like it wasn't just like a fill happening over it. It's like... the different panes of the glass, like, come in, animate in, as the skill becomes ready again.
Well, I don't even know if I even noticed that.
It looks so good. It is an incredibly small thing, but that art direction is amazing on it.
Yeah, it really is.
Which honestly makes, like, if that small thing is getting such love, it makes me feel like so much of the other parts of the game are getting a ton of love.
Right.
Did it look good? Like,
it did. I'm playing on their fucking, like, really amazing rig, so it's hard to say what it looked like on, like, mine. Although mine's pretty good. But no, it looked really, really good.
Awesome.
I think there's a noticeable difference between it and Diablo 3 in that I just felt like it looked more realistic.
Yeah.
So apparently there's going to be like expanses that you can travel on a mount and all this kind of stuff. Yep. But it's going to be persistent online.
Yep.
You have to have the internet connection to play, which sucks, but...
welcome to our future.
Yeah, exactly.
We're here. People complained about it 7 years ago, but
yeah,
it's not going away.
Right.
If anything, it's only getting more.
Yeah. So it's, people were upset about that, obviously, and people are going to be upset about everything, but that's just where it's at. I also played the Overwatch 2. Brad and I both played Overwatch 2 story demo. Okay,
so you played those at the co-op mission?
Yep. Okay. So you play as a team of 4, and I'm not sure which 4, if it's the same 4 every single mission. Okay. I'm not sure about that. But if it's not, then you get a chance to like really get introduced to all the characters. There's like 31 characters on the roster right now or something like that.
Holy crap.
But it was Reinhardt, it was what the fuck's the guy's name that rolled around the skates? Lucio. It was Reinhardt, Lucio, Tracer, and somebody else. But there was like banter before, there was like a story discussion before, there was discussion after, and along the way there were people talking, little cutscenes in between. Like there was quite a bit of cutscene during and before and after the action. And it was actually a pretty engaging scenario where it didn't just feel like it's a multiplayer map with multiplayer kind of actions. Like we were taking down these enemy robots or whatever and kind of busting into the factory and seeing that they were creating these robots and kind of building the story around you taking down the big baddie or whatever who's making these robots to destroy the world or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be the most amazing writing ever, but it was definitely interesting to flesh out the characters in game as opposed to like the outside cinematics or whatever.
Well, that cinematic they showed was pretty awesome.
Fucking great. It was so great.
God damn it. No matter what, Blizzard's cinematics team is amazing. Because holy shit.
Yeah.
That Overwatch 2. That trailer got me, and then I was like, as soon as they said it's going to have co-op and PvE and story missions, I was like, I'm in. That's really all I've wanted. I don't really feel like playing a competitive PvP shooter, but I wouldn't mind just playing some missions with friends. So I was pretty excited about it. And I was wondering what an Overwatch 2 even would be.
Yeah. And I feel like
they kind of answered it, and it is what it is. I still don't completely believe it couldn't have just been an update to Overwatch.
It should have been. It should, because people play Overwatch 1, they're going to get all the characters, all the maps.
But the only thing the story content.
Exactly. So just keep updating Overwatch and then sell the story part separately. So I'm not exactly sure why call it 2.
I think this is them bowing to Activision.
Oh, yeah.
And Activision wanting more full box contents year after year.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And I guess Blizzard's not going to probably be a company that's going to do yearly releases of things.
Right.
But every couple years, they don't want just updates to the same game. They want Overwatch 3. Like the way they do Call of Duty or any of that stuff. That's a pretty big mandate by Blizzard. Not Blizzard, by Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, right.
So I think this is the middle ground that they can get to, where they can still kind of be Blizzard, but appease corporate overlords.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Because they want the 2 on the box, so that
they want the 2 on the box. So they can sell a $60 game again.
Yep. Oh, and there's no way it's gonna be 60 though.
Yeah, it's probably because Overwatch wasn't 60.
No, it had the 40 version, or you could pay 60 and get some extra skins or whatever.
Yeah, so it'd probably be the same thing. Yeah.
So, so I thought it was fun. It was sort of fun. And Brad is a person who like loves the characters, thinks they're really interesting, hates the game because it's just like you get dropped on the street and you fight each other. Like what? There's no fucking, who cares? Yeah. So he doesn't play that game, but he was really, after playing the demo, he was super interested in Overwatch 2.
Yeah. So. I mean, it definitely hits that different audience. Me, person that doesn't care about the competitive side, but once the co-op, it's like, you'll definitely start getting more people to play, hopefully. But yeah, that was cool. What else was there that you saw?
Shadowlands, I don't play Overwatch, so I didn't really follow it.
The cinematic was amazing.
It was so good, where she ended up ripping apart.
Oh, you're like, is she going to put it on? Nope, yeah. She's destroying the why can't I remember its name? What's the crown? Fuck, I've already screwed up on my lore. I can't think of it anymore. The Lich King, the crown of the Lich King, the helm of the Lich King.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, right? But
but you're just destroying it, which was insane.
Yeah, it was really like they do story trailers really fucking well.
Yeah,
just would be nice to have a lot of that in the story, in the game. I mean,
so I mean, they didn't talk a huge amount. I saw in the opening about a lot of stuff. I mean, it was like, look at new WoW expansion, Shadowlands. You're going to go into the afterlife of Azeroth or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Where the heroes go when they die, kind of thing.
Yeah, and so they'll play with that some. It's more WoW, but the thing that came out later in the individual panel is that they're completely redoing how leveling works in all of WoW with this expansion. Because I think there's 140 levels in WoW now, or 120, something like that. It's a really high level cap. So if you're going to start playing, new player comes in, I want to play Shadowlands. Well, good luck. If it took the normal route, you would have to start at level 1 and play through as much content as you could to get to the new stuff.
And like basically just never get there.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, it seems like never get there.
Right. That's what keeps me from wanting to get involved, because I have to go through everything.
I will be honest, it was a pain in the ass for me back whenever it was the first expansion. I wanted to play a Blood Elf. Because I was at Horde, I was playing Horde, and then they introduced Blood Elves in the expansion. Blood Elves could be Paladins on the Horde side, and I wanted to play Paladin, because that's what I played on Alliance.
Right.
So all my friends, I went midnight, got my copy of Burning Crusade, installed it, and started playing when I got home. And I leveled from 1 to 60 in like 2 days. I almost didn't sleep because I was racing to get up to level 60 so I could go into Burning Crusade and play with my friends again. Right. And I'm an idiot, and I did the same goddamn thing again years later when whichever one had the Death Knights in it. And I was like, I'm going to play a Death Knight.
Right.
Which they started at level 50, which was great. But I had to get my character to 70 at that point. So I had to play through all of Burning Crusade's content before meeting my friend. And again, I did the same thing again. Those were lovingly called the Week of Ants. Where I just played WoW pretty much. I took vacation from work and played WoW. Right. We all did, actually. There was a big chunk of us that took it and just played. So it was insane to do that.
And not something you'd like to repeat.
No, and especially now with more content. So they're getting back to that. They're compressing all the levels to, I think it was 1 to 40 now. So, and if I read it correctly, when Shadowlands comes out and they do this level compression, characters will be brought back to like either level 1 or level 10. Maybe if you're far enough along, if you're max level, you go to 10. And then once new players, or it goes levels from 1 to 10 in their designated starting zone or what they choose, then they choose the expansion that they want to go to next to level. And it could be any expansion. It can be the latest one. It can be Burning Crusade. It can be Cataclysm, whatever. Doesn't matter. Like, you get to choose. So if you want to play with people that you haven't played WoW or you want to re-engage with it, and they're getting Shadowlands, you can just do it and be there super quick to play with them.
That's cool. Because that, if you're a returning or new player and you're like, someone says, hey, why don't you play this new expansion with me? It's like, I can't play 10 years of content in 2 days.
I will play with you in like a month. Sounds great. It's a drastic change to their leveling system. Right. What does it say? The progress from levels 1 to 10 will be completely revamped before players can explore any of the previous expansions while they actually, no, it's read it wrong. Alright, it's 1 to 10, and then you can explore any expansion from 10 to 50. Once you hit 50, you can go to Shadowlands. So it'll probably take you a week, probably, to get to Shadowlands.
Okay.
But you get to experience any expansion that you want, between it and Shadowlands.
Right.
Yeah, and players were leveling to 130 in the old system.
Dang.
That's insane. I stopped at 80.
And you could still have gone so much further.
I could have.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me. See, like, WoW, even for how long it's been going, them still just doing crazy changes like this. And being willing to just be like, yep, we got to do something drastic here to keep the game viable.
Well, yeah, they're down to, what, 2 million subscriptions now? We looked it up while we were at BlizzCon. Because I was curious about the current subscription is, and Brad looked up the graph, and it was about just over 2 million. And I thought it was supposed to be at 6 or 7, but the content he found was not that.
WoW subscriptions 2019. It's hard to say. There's a lot of fuzzy data points. It's between probably 2 and 4 million.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it peaked at Wrath of the Lich King. That's where WoW was probably my favorite time. It's just over, probably closer to 13 million. That was in 2000. Yeah, mid 2010, a little bit early 2010. That's where it peaked, and then it's kind of been dropping since then.
Right.
Although it had a peak up to 10-ish, between 8 and 10 when Legion came out. Battle for Azeroth didn't get anything. I think this is probably a good chance for them to spike back up again, at least into 6 to 8.
But do they spike and then people leave again? Or?
Of course, it's going to go down like that. It's probably going to constantly go down like that, spiking and then trail off. But they got to do something, I guess. Because just looking at the little graphs and numbers, it's probably going to stabilize no matter between 2 and 4. I mean, there's just that many people committed to the fact that they've put their lives into the game.
Right. How do you walk away from that?
Yeah. You don't.
I think what my mom, who has been playing WoW since 10 years now, man, fucking 10 years. And made friends and like has forged relationships and just like lives for that game. Like,
yeah,
she doesn't really get out of the house, so without it, she wouldn't have these social interactions she's having. So she couldn't walk away from that.
So yeah, you had that. Was there anything else at BlizzCon that you took part in?
Well, there was a Diablo Immortal signing for a poster, which is pretty cool. I didn't actually get to play Diablo Immortal because at that point we were doing something else, so I didn't get in line. And then later, the line was too long, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I stood and watched for a little bit, and it kind of just looks like what you would expect. Kind of a lower res, maybe, a little bit. Diablo, although I didn't get a close look at it, and you're just tapping around the screen. So I wish I would have played it. I'm actually interested in that game. Other than that, a lot of the esports, I watched some StarCraft competition, watched some Overwatch competition, finally like really understood watching Overwatch. Like it was really exciting actually to watch. And that felt cool. I didn't get to watch any Hearthstone. I was looking forward to it, but there's just so much to do, so much to see at all times that we just, I was on a timer anyways. I had to leave halfway through yesterday to get back home in time for baby's bedtime. But there's just a lot of content, and I walked away remembering how much I love Blizzard games. And I played a ton of Hearthstone while I was there on my phone. So we'll talk about that when we get into what we've been playing, I guess.
Well, cool.
So, nothing else really stands out, except for there's a ton of really cool videos about how Diablo 4 has been coming together.
Oh, I'm so jealous that you got to play, because I'm not going to be able to play for years.
Years, right? Not for years. And that's going to be like my time playing Diablo until like 2022.
Yeah.
Diablo 4, I mean, at least.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that means one more expansion for Diablo 3?
No, they're done.
They're done? Yeah, okay.
As far as I can tell, and any insider knowledge that I have, they're done. Don't expect any like paid DLC or anything like that. Like, You'll get seasons rotating, but that's it.
Yeah.
So that book is closed. I was surprised we didn't hear about anything. I guess it's not happening. The Diablo 2 remaster that was rumored.
Oh man, I was just so waiting for it, and it didn't come.
No, I mean theoretically it could still be in the works, but
it could be next year or whatever. So.
Because they're doing Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Right.
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because they have a team that handles that stuff, and they're doing Reforged now, so maybe it's on pre-production to start on that
Right.
to remaster Diablo 2. But yep, that's not happening anytime soon.
Makes sense.
Whatever.
That'd be so cool to see. Oh,
Yeah.
Be a stopgap before Diablo 4. Because I know,
Yeah.
I mean, for all of us, like the wait between 2 and 3 was just like fucking excruciating. So it'd be nice to
And
have
it's been
something.
8 years, 8 years between
Came out
Diablo.
2012.
Diablo 3 did. So yeah, 7 years so far, and really it's going to be a decade
gonna be
between
a decade.
Diablo 3 and Diablo 4.
Right.
Oh, God damn it.
At least they had their expansions in between.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The other thing that stood out from BlizzCon, which a total fucking random encounter. Brad and I were at some timeline talking about like the timeline of games that they've shipped. Big huge wall with games and the dates or whatever, which oddly was missing StarCraft 2 completely. It had the StarCraft 2 expansions, but not the original. But while we're standing there, Brad was telling me the story again about Halo and how he in college would set up Halo LAN parties and were able to get 16 players playing together or whatever. And then some guy wanders over and says, did you just say that you got 16 players playing together original Halo in your dorm? And then he's like, yep. He's like, I worked on that game. We could only get 8. And we started talking about him developing Halo and working on kind of like back-end stuff, networking and such. And then in a break in the conversation about the technical stuff that him and Brad were talking about, I was like, so are you still in the game industry? He's like, oh yeah, I work at Bungie.
What was his name?
Zach, I think.
I know him.
Really?
Yeah, he talked at when I went to college at University of Puget Sound. He's a UPS grad.
Oh shit!
He grad
okay.
a couple years before me, but he came and gave a talk on Halo before it shipped. Me and another person kind of set it up so he would come and talk through a professor, and he brought in, before Halo had shipped, brought in Xboxes for us to play.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, but Zach, God, I wish I knew his last, Zach.
Yeah, he didn't say his last name. He just introduced himself as Zach.
I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. If he still works at Bungie, then it's the same guy.
Yeah, he's been there since then, and we're talking about the Stadia launch and the stuff on the back end for that, and like that improvement game.
Okay, that's a small world.
Yeah, it was it was just like Brad telling the story, and then the guy overheard and came over, and we talked for like 25 minutes, and it was like probably one of my favorite moments of BlizzCon, just this random discussion with a Bungie dev. So it's cool to like see like, game devs working on really, really big games who are at BlizzCon just as fans. Like he wasn't there doing anything else, just there enjoying the same things we were enjoying.
Yeah, I mean, it's very likely. Yeah, Zach Russell.
Okay.
Director of Special Projects at Bungie Studios. I bet it was him if he was talking about networking stuff, because he was doing networking stuff back in the day.
There's Zach Russell Bungie. Let me see the images.
Yep, that was totally the right time period.
Zach Russell. Oh yeah, that's the dude. Yep, that is the guy, Zach Russell.
Yep, went to UPS.
Nice. Oh shit, I wish I'd have known that. I'm like, hey, I know someone.
I think he graduated my freshman year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says infrastructure. It says here.
Yep.
Yep, that makes sense.
That is such a small world. Holy
yeah, that's
shit.
crazy. That's crazy that you fucking like were like, oh, what's his name? Zach? Oh yeah, that's the guy. Shit.
I mean, Bungie's huge, but there's not a lot of people that can talk. There's not a lot of people at Bungie that can talk that they worked on Halo and still work at Bungie.
Yeah.
Now. Right. It's a small handful, so.
Yeah, it was super cool. So I enjoyed that very much.
Holy crap.
And that's kind of my whole BlizzCon.
Well, cool. Nothing I did was nearly as exciting. So, I sat and I watched BlizzCon stuff on Friday, super excitedly.
Nice.
And then you sent me all the texts and everything along the way, and I was very happy too. God.
Very good. So, what have you been playing?
The only thing I've been playing this past week has been Slay the Spire.
Oh, dang, you are hooked.
I am so hooked on that game, and the art is so bad.
It really is bad. I played it last week after we talked, and I was like, oh, God.
It's hilarious, but this is where one of those things where I'm like, the gameplay, really, really good gameplay can even trump my caring of old, basically looks like MS Paint art. The only thing I can say about it is that while the actual 2D art is pretty low quality, the actual visual effects are really good. So the feedback of when you do things is really, really strong. Of oh, I did damage. They're doing damage to me. There's lots of correct screen shake. Icons highlight when you expect them to and explain what's going on. And there's a lot of little touches like that. But man, the art style, the art direction is rough.
Yeah. But the underlying mechanics make it all worth it.
Yeah, basically. And make it just me wanting to play just another game. Let's just try this again. Let's try this weird deck. Let's try to see what I get. And if I can make something bizarre work and get all the unlocks. Starting to work my way through Ascensions on different characters. So it's a crazy deep game. There's so much there. Now I'm I should just get it for Switch.
Yeah, play it anywhere you want.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's really all I've played, and by played, we're talking probably put a dozen hours into it.
Right.
In a week, just every night playing for 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, really enjoying it a lot. And I don't know if that's going to change this week or not, because I don't think I'm getting Death Stranding.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I just yelled in the mic, whoever's listening to this podcast. But wow, those
it's a divisive game, and I expect that. At this point, I have a hard time seeing any Kojima game not being divisive.
Yeah, it just sounds like a tedious game with an art house goal. I don't know.
I think the thing I said, it's the weirdest AAA game you're ever gonna see.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the conversation about Red Dead, where there are good things somewhere in the game, and probably more in Red Dead than in Death Stranding, but just tedium that gets in the way. It's just a walking simulator, which I hate to use as a pejorative term, but for this long of a game, this AAA of a game, it seems like it should have been more. And I haven't played it, so I'm just basing on the reviews and the reaction. Okay, then. But I guess you are probably not going to be playing that anytime soon.
I don't think so. I had to make a choice because I can't just buy all the games, and I want to... The following week, Jedi Fallen Order comes out, and I want to play that instead.
Wait, is that next week?
It's the 15th.
Oh shit, I have that pre-ordered. I guess I'm getting that soon.
So it's, a week from Friday?
Right.
I think it's the 15th. It's either the 15th or the 19th, the following Tuesday.
I'm super interested to see how Metroidvania it actually is.
Yeah. November 15th. So yeah, it's a week from Friday.
Okay.
So... That's probably the next new game I'm going to be playing.
Right. Oh no, never mind. I was going to say, you have Game Pass, you can play it, but then that's EA access.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, have you been playing Outer Worlds at all? Just
a little bit, but I got distracted by Slay the Spire. I look at the thing and I'm I could play Outer Worlds, but Slay the Spire is right below. Okay, I guess I'm doing Slay the Spire.
Remember that your Game Pass will expire at the end of the month, though.
It's true. So yeah, that's me right now.
That's cool. Oh, one thing I forgot to say about BlizzCon. Hearthstone Global Finals champion. First time it's been a female player.
I saw that. Very cool.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. For me, played quite a bit of Hearthstone while I was at BlizzCon. Just because I was there and Hearthstone was everywhere. I was in the Hearthstone Tavern, so I was like, I'll blow up my phone and play again, and I got hooked again. I started playing Wild with my one really good deck. Everything else I have is not very good, but I have one fucking great deck, and winning games felt great. And then I played Luigi's Mansion. So that unlocked on Halloween, and that was my train game, basically, and I played a little bit of BlizzCon. It plays differently. I have never played a Luigi's Mansion, so it plays differently than any other Nintendo game that I've ever played. It's really unique. And I feel like the only thing holding this game back from being really, really great, it's a ton of fun. There are lots of interesting puzzles. I feel like in the 3.5, 4 hours that I've played, every new floor that I've gone to has been a different theme, which has been great, but also different things to do in each place. It hasn't gotten repetitive yet. And that feels pretty good for being basically almost a third of the way through the story. but the controls are a little hard to get used to.
Okay.
Like, you're like charging up your light to flash the ghosts so that they materialize, so that then you can suck them up. But the way that you spin around with your light, it just feels imprecise. Like I have to hold right to swing left and hold left to swing right, and it just feels counter where my brain is. And that part has been hard, basically aiming, and the whole game is aiming. You're aiming your fucking vacuum or your light. So it's taken a while to get used to it. I feel like I'm better now at it, but there have been some points where I've missed out on killing a ghost or finding something because I couldn't get my. It feels imprecise. So when I beat a boss finally, it's not like the whole fight could have been maybe 20% shorter, except for me missing my shots. And that's partially on me, but partially on the controls. But it looks good. There's a huge variety in bosses so far that has been pretty interesting. I think there are like 16 or 17 bosses in the game. And, the story is just like your friends are missing, go find them.
Yeah.
But it's really been enjoyable to play, and I'm looking forward to continuing.
Oh, very cool.
That's all I've been playing.
All right, then.
Yeah. Anything else for the good of the podcast?
I don't think so. Was there anything else this week that was, non-game related? There was the Witcher trailer.
Fucking hell, and it was a good one.
It was a good one. I'm so sold now.
And yeah, Henry Cavill has got the voice down. Like, he's giving reference to the game through that, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's not he's never going to do the exact voice from the video games, but you can definitely okay, you've studied the video game voice. Like,
yep.
You at least want to sound somewhat like that.
I feel like I'm paying homage a little bit to it.
There was the bathtub image, which I'm like, this thing's going to have so many nods to the games.
Yep.
Got to see Ard in use.
Yeah, that's right. We did. And the showrunner said there was going to be quite a bit of magic, so I'm looking forward to seeing Igni.
Yeah, I figure he'll use all his normal signs, and then we'll probably see a ton of stuff from Yennefer and Ciri, and just magic in the world. Yep.
The main thing from the interview was you're going to see magic and nudity.
Yeah. Okay.
So get ready for Henry Cavill's dong. Although they usually don't show penises, I guess.
No, that's still not something you typically see. I'm curious though on the whole. They have him in the bathtub right there. Yep. That scene's probably going to extend longer.
Gonna see the unicorn.
Yeah.
At some point.
I wonder if just in the background somewhere. There's a stuffed unicorn in the background.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. I read something that said they have 7 seasons planned, which I don't know how you do that based on one season that hasn't even come out yet. But December 20th.
Well, they probably have arcs of how long it would theoretically take them to tell the story that they want to tell. But I'm pretty sure Netflix has only given them one so far. I don't think they've got them. At least publicly haven't said of any more seasons. So we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll get something good if the day it comes out you get those announcements we already have a second season. Go. It looks good. I'm pretty excited.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. It's good.
Oh, December 20th. It had the date too. December 20th.
Yeah. That was when you texted me, you said the trailer's out. I was like, release date, please.
Yep. Right there. December 20th. Same day as Rise of Skywalker.
Is it really?
Yep.
Shit. Okay. I guess I have until December 20th to watch whatever the last movie was.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
You've been talking that through the entire year. You're I have to watch this movie. I'm
halfway through. I know I'm terrible. I'm not that interested.
Oh.
I'm really trying. If I were in the theater, then kind of would be forced to watch it. So.
Yes.
And it's not because I don't like The Last Jedi.
You don't like Star Wars, really?
Not really.
There you go. You don't like space wizards?
No, not really. Sci-fi has never been my thing, so I'm trying though. But Mass Effect,
it's not really sci-fi.
They're in space. That's enough.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's more fantasy, right?
Mass Effect is far more sci-fi than Star Wars.
Yes. And I really, really, really enjoyed Mass Effect. So
yeah.
Even 3.
There you go. But what about Andromeda?
I have it. I've had it for like a year and a half,
Exactly.
man. I haven't even fucking started it yet.
Oh my god, that's the
because...
question that everyone asks me. I'll have my hoodie on, or they'll see my wallet that has N7, and if they're Mass Effect, they're like, "What'd you think of Andromeda?" I'm like, like this is consistently the last 4 or 5 times anyone's seen that stuff and knows about Mass Effect. That's the question you ask? Really?
Oh man, yeah. Here's to hoping EA remasters it for the Switch.
Oh, did you hear about that though?
That they were going back to their catalog to bring out games.
Yeah, that in their earnings call they talked about how one, they're dropping their NBA game, but in that same thing that they have some exciting remasters to announce later.
If Mass Effect isn't fucking number 1, then just stop. Because you're not serious about it. Oh god.
So they at least acknowledge that they're going to do some remasters.
Yeah.
Which is more than they've said in the past for anything.
Right. I'll be happy to wait. Give it to me. Give me.
Just on Switch. Just give me the trilogy on Switch. I'll be very happy.
I agree.
Yeah.
On that note, that hopeful note, this was episode 216 of Prof and Dev Play Games. He is at SummerSpeak. I am at Prof Plays Games. Hit us up on Patreon. Search Prof and Dev Play Games to support us, and also rate us on your podcast service of choice. And we will be back next week to discuss... God, is there something happening this week? No, probably not.
Probably not.
We'll be back to discuss something.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks.
Later.